Lightworker versus shadow worker. In this video, I'm going to discuss the difference between the two, and it may not be what you think. So let's dive straight in. Firstly, I want to just say apologies for the audio quality and maybe the quality of this video. My internet cut out at home, so I popped over to my mother-in-law's to do this, and I forgot my mic, so apologies, please do bear with me. Often now I'm actually hearing the term shadow worker. We may have heard of the term shadow work, but now I'm hearing that people are identifying as a shadow worker, or I've come here as a shadow worker, just the same as a light worker. A light worker comes here to incarnate, to help raise the collective consciousness of the planet so we can ascend and live in harmony and peace and all of that. It illuminates. Now we're having this kind of label, this other thing that is shadow worker. And for me personally, I thought, oh, maybe I'm a shadow worker because I can sit with my shadow. I can actually go to the deepest depths of parts of my shadow, which I have done. And I can sit in front of the mirror and confront my shadow, confront myself. But I also used to think of myself as a light worker too. Like, I've got light worker oracle cards. I see 144 quite a lot, and I think I feel like I'm one of the chosen ones that have come here to help raise the collective consciousness and all of that. But what I actually believe is that light worker and a shadow worker are one of the same thing. We cannot have the light without the dark, and you cannot have the darkness without the light. It's both kind of yin and yang. This duality is the masculine, the feminine, and so the dark and the light. We need to understand what light work means. What is this role or this label? So if we think of it, what does light do? Light illuminates. It helps us to see. So a light worker is here. Their role is to awaken, to shine their light, to help illuminate what is in the dark or what needs to be seen, so then we can wake up. So this means people will begin to see things, see truth, see darkness. So then we begin to wake up and activate. So this is the role of, I guess, light worker. So this means the role of the light work is to illuminate, to shine light. And to do that, what happens is that we have to trigger the shadow. We have to work with the shadow, so then we can begin to see the shadow. Because if we are just focused on light work and focused on ascension and those higher vibrational frequencies, we are spiritually bypassing the shadow. Because yes, I get it, we feel shameful of the shadow, that's why it's there, away, because we don't want to identify it, we don't want to see it. But it does this collectively as well. That is the collective shadow. That's why we are seeing so much chaos and darkness coming to the surface now, because there is so many light workers or light now being shined, and people are awakening to the truth. Then it illuminates the shadow. But the light workers and shadow workers are one of the same things. Because a shadow worker, people often think of it as a dark thing. You're into witchcraft, you're able to just be with your demons and some kind of ritual or stuff like that. It's simply not true. Shadow work is part of the light work, because what a shadow can do, when the light illuminates onto a shadow, the darkness manipulates the light to create kind of a shadow. Because think of it as finger puppets. That's why I'm doing all of this, trying to explain. When a light shines on the person's hand, it creates a shadow, doesn't it? So that's what light does. And then the darkness, the shadow, can manipulate that light almost to get a certain outcome, and the outcome in this instance is a particular projection onto a wall, a particular like animal or a story. So that's how the light and the dark can work together, but the darkness can manipulate the light to have particular outcomes. But we always have those moments of ascension and moments of descension, those moments of introspection and going within, contraction, and then there's moments of expansion. And this is the moments of the light work and the dark work, or the shadow work, I should say. So I don't believe there's ever this label as I'm just identify as a shadow work, because if you work with your shadow, if you only solely work with your darkness, you need the light to come in to be able to integrate that, to illuminate it, to show it some love and compassion. So then we're able to accept these parts of us, or accept what has been in darkness collectively. And so it's never about I'm only a shadow worker, I'm only a light worker. They are one of the same thing. And often the light will trigger a shadow, or a shadow may trigger someone else's shadow. So if you are kind of like a healer, maybe you are able to sit with your shadow. Sometimes if people are around you, you may trigger them to heal, to work with their own shadow. And it's the same with the light. If you have a lot of hot light, this can trigger someone else's shadow. It tries to illuminate the darkness. So then somebody can go within the depths of the darkness to finally integrate and illuminate their own shadow. So we all have that dark and light aspects of ourselves. If you're identified as a light worker, you're also a shadow worker, because if we're just going around it, you are not doing the work. You are spiritually bypassing, because I get it, you don't want to identify as a shadow worker because you believe that it's a dark, it's rituals or something, it's demonic, and that all it is shadow work is the psyche. Shadow work is the subconscious, and sometimes I call it the internal matrix, because it kind of gets programmed. Our subconscious kind of gets programmed, and then it's stuck in there, and it's about reprogramming it and shining light onto those programmed beliefs that we have about ourselves. So it's never really I'm this or I'm that, because these are just labels of separation. We all have dark and light within us, and it's essential as a light worker to also work with the dark. But the dark can be that manipulator, because it doesn't want the light to really see or illuminate parts of us, because we identify that with shame. But this has clarified lots of things for you. Don't forget to check out this video next about shadow work, the biggest signs that your shadow work practice is working. So with that being said, I'll see you in that video. Much love.